All right, so I had a recently unfortunate event with one of my viewers who also happened to be a part of a number of forum chat pages and things of that nature. He's even on Facebook and floats around some of the coin pages on Instagram as well. And while these are all fantastic, I guess places to go, to get some really quick feedback on coins that you may have. There is no account for actually, listening to what you have inside of here. All right. And the unfortunate event with this particular individual is that he posted some coins for people to look at on these forum sites, and people were encouraging him, yeah, go ahead and send it out. I mean, that thing's awesome. That Jefferson Nichols, they get full steps, or that's going to be a top pop graded Lincoln cent or whatever it is. And no no surprise to me, a lot of the coins are relatively modern. I think there must have been probably one coin that I think it was a 42D Jefferson nickel, so it was a wartime silver nickel, so it had the big mid mark on the back and all that great stuff. But I mean, it looked pretty good. Me personally, would I send it out? No. Only because my stance never changes when it comes to grading moderns. There's no safety net. There really isn't. And I don't think this individual kind of understood that, because he was listening to too many people that were in the same tier, I guess, or level educationally, when it comes to graded coins, when it comes to U.S. type coins, varieties, errors, that sort of thing. And they're prompting this fella to go and spend his hard-earned money to the tune of over $400 in submission fees, and he probably got back, on a good day, probably $60 in value back. He even had a coin, and I can't believe that this even got sent out, like a 1986 Lincoln cent that came back a Mint State 63 red brown or something like that. Those coins don't deserve to be in plastic. Never in your wildest imagination should you ever consider sending a coin like that out. So we are going to learn some pretty valuable lessons from this particular individual that had sent out all these coins. And he emailed me, and I said, I'm going to do a video. And I talked to him. I said, there's a few things you need to do. All right. And number one, take this as a learning lesson. Yeah, you lost a shitload of money. Net, probably $350, $360 is what he lost. And that's including shipping and all that great stuff. At the end of the day, he felt like crap. It was a bad submission. And he felt even worse because he had to trust all those people that he didn't even know. That's the worst part, is that he did not know any of these people. And on forum chat pages, you don't see their faces. Usually it's some sort of avatar. Like someone will throw up like a toned Lincoln Penny, or they'll throw on a cartoon character, or something like that, smoking a cigar, and thinking it's all good. And you're like, oh yeah, I know this guy. He has 25,000 posts, and he knows what he's talking about. But in this video, we're going to kind of condition ourselves to do this one very important thing before we make any sort of kind of like coin decision. And most of the time, the coin decision is going to involve spending your hard-earned money to get a coin graded, to buy something online, to buy something on Facebook, like some of those auction groups. Taking part in auctions is another good one, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, eBay, another good one, ordering from the mint, But what I think everyone watching right now needs to do is they need to get used to asking themselves what their intent is. All right. When it comes to these, in some instances, for this individual, it was kind of life altering, because he literally put all the eggs in one basket, and it didn't turn out too well. So what do I mean by asking ourselves questions? Okay, well, I'll give you a pretty good example, and that's grading coins. Um, what is your intent, Sean? What do I hope to gain from this? All right, and then you'll give yourself an answer, whatever it is. I think a lot of people are jaded because of the information that is on YouTube and all that stuff. That the big one when it comes to grading coins is to make a little money, right? I can't be the only one that knows that this is kind of like the one of the main motivations for a lot of, especially newer collectors. The old season people, they know damn well not to deal with modern coins because there's just not nearly as much profit to be made there, and it's more of a gamble. You know, you'd have much better luck going to the worst odds table game or a slot machine at a casino and trying to win money that way, because it literally is lottery odds to grade coins post 1950. I've said it before. I've talked about coins that have sold for a lot of money, but I'm telling you this right now. Do not grade moderns if that is your only motivation. You have to be in love with the hobby. It's not that easy. 99.9% of the people fail because they don't know jack about grading. Along the same lines of grading, what am I achieving by coin grading? Is it to encapsulate something, to preserve it for the rest of your life? Is it to make money? All right. What else? That's really the kind of like the two questions, the two answers for coin grading. Because ultimately, there are also going to be follow-up questions. What happens if I don't grade my coins? And then you're going to go through all, process all the answers in your brain. Things that might come up was, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I won't make any money. You don't know unless you try. But on the more common sense kind of angle to it, it's like, well, I get to save money. Or the populations are too high and the coin is not worth it. The coin is not worth sending out to grade because I know at a Mint State 68, it's a $2,500 coin. But if it's anything else underneath that, at the best, it's going to be a $100 coin. And that's without factoring in your submission fees and all that. Some would even ask themselves, what do I lose if I don't grade my coin? Well, you might not get nearly enough money selling it raw, and that especially holds true for older U.S. type coins that I would consider to be obsolete. Like anything 1935 and under. It works along those lines, especially if you have a really nice mid-state, like say early Buffalo nickel or Mercury dime or Standing Liberty quarter, and you would even say, how about the couple of key date 1932 Washington quarters? If you don't grade, there's a possibility that you won't get the money that you're looking for because it's raw. Some people see raw coins as having problems because in this day and age, especially in the last 20 years, where grading is so prevalent and prominent for the monetary success of a lot of dealers and independent collectors, grading is everything. So if a coin is ungraded, people see that in their mind as being a coin with issues. All right, and that's ultimately what we want to identify as we ask ourselves these questions. What happens if I wait is a good one. And that kind of parallels into the next subject, and that's buying at the U.S. Mint. Now, we've had a number of just blockbuster releases, okay? The U.S. Mint still trying to sort out the Morgan Dollar series. They've reinstated the sale dates for next month. Yeah, it's July 1st. But August, they're going to reinstate that. And there has been a few other releases, the V75 series of Gold Eagles and Silver Eagles. There is the 2019 S Enhanced Silver Eagle, and in addition to a few other releases as well from the past 12 to 18 months. And people have had a hard time trying to pick these up and still trying to hold their sanity together because the website issues have made the overall experience a bad one. So, the question I always ask myself when it comes to an upcoming US Mint product, and I think this year I have a really great example because I think there's a lot of good things going on with the Silver Eagle program. I think it's, crazy. It's overpriced from what you get on the US Mint website. But that was one of those releases I knew because you have the reverse of 86 and the reverse of 2021, the brand new reverse design. And I asked myself, do I need it? What if I wait? The answer to the do I need it, I'm like, yeah, I certainly need it. However, the second question I asked myself put things into a lot better perspective that ultimately allowed me to take a pass on those products. I didn't even buy the first reverse of 86 proof coin that came out, I think, in like February, because I knew, you know what, there's going to be a lot of these out there. The prices are going to dip on them 6 months to a year later. If I wanted to pick one up in proof 70, I could do so then and save myself a whole ton of money by just waiting. And you could also say the same for some of those coins that have come and gone. The 2019S Enhanced Reverse Silver Eagle was just balls out some of the craziest, most expensive coins when it came out last year, November, or whatever it was, or 2019. I didn't get one. I had a hard time trying to get on the Mint website and trying to order one, much like a lot of people were. I was able to get the V75 last year, turn around and sold that. And those were a couple of coins I knew that were super exclusive, that if I wanted to make some quick money right out of the chute, I would go and order those. And sure enough, I paid whatever it was, $80, and turned around and sold it for $500. Seems like a really good flip. But those are coins unequivocally that I needed to be a part of. These Silver Eagle coins for 2021 with a new reverse design, I took a look at it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything with that. If I wanted to get a nice mid-state 70 next year of this release or a proof 70 of the new reverse design, I could. It saved myself probably 50% in the overall value of the coin if I got it graded. Plus, in addition, you also got to look at it this way. When someone buys these coins off the US Mint and they're interested in sending them out for grading, they're going to pay for the grading fees and the shipping and what have you. Consider it them taking the hit on depreciation based off of the amount of money that they've spent to get it into a graded slab holder. So when I go to buy it, maybe next summer, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if I were to do it all myself. Because when it comes to these hot new releases, it doesn't matter if it's coins, sports cards, Pokemon, whatever it is, the time in which the coins and cards and other collectibles are worth the most amount of money is at release, or like an earshot there from there. Maybe the first 30 days or first 2 weeks or whatever. You have to put yourself in a mindset that if you were going to obtain something of that stature, that you should wait. And if you wait, the good things will happen. You're able to get that personal satisfaction of owning the coin. And guess what? I saved myself $30 for the submission. I saved myself another $15 on the shipping. I saved myself time. I saved myself aggravation of going on the US Mint website. So you see the big picture is that if you ask yourself these qualifying questions before making the move into spending money, into hanging around on your day off, trying to obtain the coins and you don't know if you're going to get it, good things will happen. You'll be able to assess the situation a lot better and possibly save yourself time, money, and quality of life. Because obviously you're not going to have a blood pressure of 200 over 120, which it does happen sometimes. Not me specifically, but people do have a coronary when they go on the US Mint website. And, it becomes one of those experiences where I just don't want to deal with them anymore. The website's fucked up all the time. And, it's just one of those things where you don't want to be a part of it. Bad news travels fast. And when it does, it affects other people. But at the same time, people like to challenge that stuff. And they go on there and say, you know what? You can't get it, but bet your ass I could get mine. And, come to find out, they do. So there's a lot of contention there. Not only customer versus mint, but customer versus customer on the social media side when it comes to stuff like that. So that'll be another thing that you'll avoid. You'll just be sitting back idly by, waiting for these things to drop 75% in value before you pick them up. Because with US Mint product, after about 8 to 12 months is when the market level comes to its deepest point before it starts to head back up. And that's only because that inventory begins to kind of disappear at that point. So yeah, definitely look at it from that point of view. And also the same holds true with everything else. Precious metal investing, buying. What do you lose if you don't invest today? What happens if you don't go to your local coin shop today? Do I need it? What happens if I pay X today? Precious metals is tough because it's a truly investment. It's a market that fluctuates on a daily basis. So it could drop $2 an ounce and you're like, God, man, geez. I lost $4,000 off of my silver investment and all that great stuff. The only thing is that physical silver investing is so huge right now, with the ridiculous premiums that's being levied against that particular asset. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, condition yourselves to ask questions before you make any sort of moves when it comes to collectibles. Because at the end of the day, it's going to help you out. Ultimately, it's going to save you a lot of money, especially with coin graded. There's so much emphasis today on coin grading and the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Man, I got to get this over there and I'm going to pay them, throw them a $500 bill. And, it's like, whatever sticks, right? And that's the wrong mentality to have when you're coming into the hobby. You do stuff like that and you repeatedly fail. It's gonna, number one, you're gonna have leverage a ton of credit on those credit cards. Number two, you're gonna get out of it. And then how else are you going to build back, sell your inventory that you had graded out, and things like that. Stay the long haul. Be extremely intentional, be very deliberate, and most importantly, treat it as if your money is on the line every single day. Treat it as if your health depended on it. Because if you don't do that sort of thing, you're going to come up like, my viewer, and, he's in a bad spot. He doesn't know what to do because he's a guy that makes $2,500 a month, and $400 is a lot of money. That's a car payment for a lot of people. That's part of a rental payment or a mortgage payment or whatever, what have you. It can be extremely detrimental. It can be extremely unnecessary if you just shoot from the hip. And then people do that all the time. People shoot from the hip, and they don't think about the process. They don't do the research. They don't think about how much a coin is going to be if it grades out X, because if you don't get Z and it comes out X, then that's going to be a rude awakening. And I had alluded to auctions. Auctions are kind of like the bane of a lot of coin collectors. People like the action, the constant back and forth bidding, trying to one up the other person. And then at the end of the day, they lose sight of what they're buying. Right? 1976 proof set, anyone? Wait, I just paid $140 for this, you know? As the auctioneer is like counting their cash like this, like, pay up. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You get kicked out. But people are extremely excitable. They're very engaging when it comes to auctions. But there is plenty of time in the heat of an auction to ask yourself, if I don't get this today, are there others that I could buy? Whether it's on that particular YouTube channel's auction site, or if it's on eBay, or if it's on Facebook. Is this truly a one-of-a-kind item where if I lose out today, I'm not going to lose sleep over it? I ask myself that every single day. There are just some things that are way too unique that I must have. And I've overpaid for some items, but I paid for the items that they're going to stay in my collection for the rest of my life. But you guys who are just getting into the coin hobby, just need to really slow down. And with the questions that you ask yourself will come the research that comes after it. Because a lot of it is research. You got to kind of audit and reassure yourself that you're making the right decision. Because if you don't do that, bad things will happen. And then, you'll just end up gathering into that pool of poor saps that all they want to do is talk about the negative of the experience. And then the same fucking people who told you to submit your coins, all of a sudden you don't hear from them anymore.